Tragedy in Texas. This morning, the nation is grieving after yet another mass shooting. At least 19 children and 2 teachers are dead after a gunman opened fire at an elementary school.
And we just learned all of those victims, they were in the same classroom. We do have team coverage for you this morning. Our Chris Groh joining us with local reaction. But we're going to start with Mike Valerio joining us live from Uvalde, Texas with the very latest. Mike.
Well, good morning. At this hour, we have new confirmation that all the victims in this massacre came from the same 4th grade classroom. All the victims, also overnight, have been identified by law enforcement. Their parents notified. This as the community continues to grapple with the trauma.
I see this in the news somewhere else, but not here. But it is happening here.
Just 2 days before the end of the school year, a teenage gunman turned a Texas elementary school into a scene of carnage.
To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away.
Parents in the small community of Uvalde waited in anguish late into the night for news of their children, some telling CNN they had to give DNA samples to help authorities identify them.
We don't know a list of who's gotten flown out. Tell us where my daughter's at.
Among those killed, according to her aunt, Eva Morales, a 4th grade teacher and educator for 17 years, and 10-year-old Amarillo Garza, whose father confirmed her death early this morning on Facebook.
I'm furious because there's now 18 or more families in Texas that are about to enter a new nightmare.
Authorities say the 18-year-old suspected gunman shot his grandmother before driving to rob elementary school and slaughtering innocent children and their teachers.
Unfortunately, he was able to enter the premises, and then from there, that's when he went on and entered several classrooms and started shooting.
While authorities search for a motive, this town and this country are grieving another senseless mass shooting.
And at this hour, we have new reporting that the suspect entered the school with 1 rifle and a tactical carrier vest capable of holding backup ammunition, more ammunition to carry out his depraved acts. We also have new information of the heroism that unfolded inside the school, with officers breaking windows and breaking down doors so that students and teachers could escape. That's the latest here in Uvalde, Texas. I'm Mike Valerio. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that update. As you just heard, their authorities say the 18-year-old gunman shot his grandmother before the mass shooting. We're learning she is still in the hospital in critical condition here this morning. Well, communities around the nation are trying to process what happened, including right here in San Diego.
Of course, this on the minds of so many of us. CBS 8's Chris Groh live outside the county administration building with that part of our coverage. Good morning to you, Chris.
Yeah, good morning. And look, we're seeing flags at half staff. And while you may not be able to tell now in the sunlight as the sun begins to rise here in San Diego, that the county administration building was lit up in orange late last night in honor of those 19 children and 2 adults killed in this shooting. But now we are still starting to hear people begin to clamor out that more needs to be done.
You should be moving heaven and earth to keep our children safe. And I hope that some of these people who are not doing enough, some of these leaders who are not doing what they know will keep our children safe will change.
And that was Celeste Perrone with the group Moms Demand Action. The national group was formed after the Sandy Hook shooting in Connecticut. And she and others in that group, and also lawmakers, are continuing to call on Congress to enact stricter gun laws in the wake of yet another school shooting. Meanwhile, CBS 8 also spoke with retired ATF agent Brad Galvan. He spent 30 years with the agency investigating active shooter cases like this one. He believes that both guns and mental health need to be addressed.
It has to be identified and acted upon before they get to this point where they get their hands on a firearm and then do something as horrendous as this.
And look, a lot of people wondering how it is that they can honor the victims in this latest school shooting here in the United States of America. And here locally, we do know of at least one candlelight vigil that will be happening at 7:30 at Waterfront Park. You can go to our website, cbs8.com, click on that story link to get all the details about how it is that you can join that vigil, but there could potentially be more others that begin to pop up as we move forward into this week. Eric and Netta.
All right, Chris, thank you for that. This is the deadliest school shooting in nearly a decade since Sandy Hook.
This morning we are hearing from the father of a student killed in another school shooting in Parkland, Florida in 2018.
You will hear these politicians sending their thoughts and prayers, and some of them will say, our hearts are with the families. Well, guess what? The families don't need your freaking hearts. They need their kids.
Meantime, we are hearing an emotional plea from Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, who is begging lawmakers to do something.
But by doing something, we at least stop sending this quiet message of endorsement to these killers whose brains are breaking, who see the highest levels of government doing nothing, shooting after shooting. What are we doing? Why are we here?
Senator Murphy will be on CBS Mornings today to discuss the shooting. Stay tuned for that at 7 a.m.
Right now, California is taking steps to get illegal guns off our streets. Just hours after the Texas school shooting, California state senators approved a bill that would give people the power to sue those who distribute illegal firearms and build ghost guns. The bill mimics the Texas law that allows people to sue abortion providers. So what are local schools now doing to keep our kids safe in the classroom? For many parents, it's nerve-wracking now to send their kids to school. And here's what some leaders are saying.
Helps discussion here. San Diego County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Paul Gothold, says every local school has a safety plan and that districts work closely with law enforcement to prevent violence in our schools.
Sweetwater Unified Superintendent Dr. Moises Aguirre says they benefit from partnerships with local, county, and federal law enforcement, as well as county education and mental health organizations.
Poway Unified Superintendent Dr. Marian Kim Phelps says in addition to ensuring physical safety prevention measures, our mental health and social emotional supports, as well as See Something, Say Something, have played a crucial role in maintaining a positive school climate and building a culture of prevention.
And coming up here at 6:30, we're going to hear from a therapist about how to talk with your children about events like the school shootings.
Your kids may need to have a conversation with you. You don't want to have this morning, but it's important to have that as we're all trying to mourn and get through this. Right now, though, we are going to get you caught up on some other local headlines. This morning, a 17-year-old boy is dead after a crash in Carmel Valley. Take a look at this. Happened around 3:15 yesterday afternoon on Carmel Canyon Road. Police say the teenager going northbound when he veered off the street and crashed into a tree. His vehicle caught fire. No other cars were involved in this. Police are still investigating, and they don't know if drugs or alcohol were a factor.
And a heads up for parents here and students, masks could be back on students as early as this morning. This is for schools in San Diego Unified if the school reaches certain risk levels. So this is not a district-wide new rule, but they would be reinstating the mask mandate for at least 2 weeks, specifically at certain schools. So here's the criteria. If there are at least 3 outbreaks within 14 days and more than 5% of the school population is infected, or if schools see at least 10% of their students absent due to illness in a span of 3 consecutive days.
And so we wanted to be clear that if we get to a point that we are worried that the virus could spread on our school campuses, that we would reinstitute the mask mandate. And so that's what these guidelines are.
So you see the guidelines there, and heads up, no school right now in the district currently fall under that current criteria to revert to masking. So today there are no schools that will require it. Meanwhile, the district is delaying their vaccine mandate for students until July of next year. And here are 3 things you need to know about the baby formula shortage this morning. Today, a second military plane loaded with formula from Germany expected to arrive in Virginia. It'll be sorted for delivery to hospitals, families in need, and retailers as soon as this weekend. Also today, the House Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations will hold a hearing on the shortage. Local Congressman Scott Peters is participating in that. And we have learned Abbott Nutrition plans to restart production as soon as next week. They'll start on June 4th. They do not expect the first batches to be on store shelves, though, until June 20th.
Let's check in with Evan now. A traffic alert for an incident happening along the 8 right now that you're tracking?
Yeah, it looks like semi-truck caught fire. This is on the 8 in the Alpine area. I want to take you to that area. Caltrans has just tweeted a couple things out to give us the latest updates, and we've been checking in with CHP as well. Speeds are slower along the 8 as you travel through those westbound lanes. You're down to the 30-mile-per-hour range. The good news here is they've reopened one lane here. So the left lane is now open there on that West Willows exit. However, the on-ramp from West Willows is still closed. So you're going to run into trouble if you're trying to get onto that on-ramp onto the 8 westbound. You're also going to just run into general congestion in that area because speeds are still down to that 30-mile-per-hour range. Looks like we've seen some steady improvements made over the last hour or so, but an hour ago was when this was really causing some issues along those 8 westbound lanes. Let's talk about what's going on in your forecast today. It is no longer a May gray start to the day. We've actually got plenty of the sun beaming through. Take a look at this. So May gray officially retreating quite a bit. If you look out farther along the Pacific, those clouds are still present. They're just not stretching to the east like they were over the last several mornings. It has been nearly every morning for the month of May that we've run into that significant layer of clouds out there. Right now, we've got a little bit of fog that we're working through. However, you've at least got that view of the sun, which indicates that we are going to warm up quickly. We're going for the low 70s along the coastline this afternoon, 80s inland, plenty of sunshine from your inland valleys to your deserts. However, your coastline is where we could be working through just a few clouds at times. Overnight lows a bit chilly, and you can see how those clouds have pulled back already. Just a few spots along the immediate coast that are working through some of them. In just a bit, we'll go through that 8-day forecast. We're staying warm today and tomorrow, but we've got a little bit of a cool down coming for us. Back